Welcome back. Last episode we talked about LIC, a company born from chaos built on trust. Today we go even further back to 1938 to two foreigners who arrived in Bombay with almost nothing, no money, no connections, no market, and somehow built a company that today constructs India's airports, launches India's defense missiles, runs India's metro lines, and manages billions in financial services. This is the story of Larsen Toubro. And the strategy behind it, it's one of the most ambitious and misunderstood plays in business history. It's 1938, two young engineers, Henning and Soren, both Danish, both barely in their 30s, land in Bombay. They are here on assignment for a Danish dairy equipment company. The plan was simple: do the work, go back home. But then World War II breaks. Ships stop running. They can't go back. Stranded in India with no passage home and very little money, they make a decision. Instead of waiting, they start a business. In 1938, they register a small trading firm, Larsen Toubro, out of a tiny office in Bombay. They start by representing foreign engineering companies, selling industrial equipment to Indian factories. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't a big vision, it was two men stuck in a foreign country, using the only thing they had, their engineering knowledge, to survive. But there's the thing about L&T. Every single crisis in their history became a launchpad, and the next one was already coming. 1947. India wins independence. The country is euphoric. But for business, especially trade, it's turbulent. The India-Pakistan partition disrupts supply chains overnight. Many of the foreign companies L&T represented suddenly couldn't deliver products into India anymore. Most businesses in L&T's position would have panicked, shrunk, waited for things to settle. L&T did something different. They looked at the chaos and asked, what does India desperately need right now that nobody is providing? The answer was clear. India was about to go through the biggest construction boom in its history. A newly independent nation needed to build dams, factories, power plants, roads, and they needed the engineering expertise to do it. So, L&T pivoted. They stopped being a trading company. They became an engineering and construction company. They started taking on real projects, building industrial plants, setting up manufacturing, doing the hard physical work of building a new India. It was a bet that paid off beyond anyone's imagination because the construction boom never really stopped. It's still happening today. Here's where L&T does something that very few companies in Indian history have managed to pull off. Through the 1950s, 60s and 70s, L&T builds dams, refineries, power plants, fertilizer factories. If India needs it built, L&T is likely the one building it. They became the backbone of India's industrial infrastructure. But they don't stop there, and this is the genius part. L&T starts expanding, but not randomly. Every new business they enter in is connected to what they already know. They understand heavy engineering, so they move into defense. They start building warships, artillery systems, missile components for ISRO and DRDO. India's Agni missile program, L&T components. They understand complex project management, so they move into IT services. L&T Infotech becomes one of India's significant tech companies, eventually spun off as LTI Mindtree. They understand large-scale capital and finance, so they start L&T Finance, billions in infrastructure lending. They understand urban construction, so they build metros, the Hyderabad Metro, parts of the Mumbai metro, entire airport terminals. One company, bridges, missiles, software, finance, metro trains, power plants, all of it. By the time you look up, L&T isn't just a construction company anymore. It's the engineering backbone of the entire country. And they got there not by doing random things, but by doing related things brilliantly. Let's talk about what L&T looks like today, because the numbers are staggering. L&T has a market capitalization of over rupees 5 lakh crore. It operates in more than 50 countries. It employs over 50,000 engineers, making it one of the largest employers of engineering talent in Asia. Its order book, the pipeline of projects it has already won and is working on, consistently sits above rupees 5 lakh crore in value. That means even if L&T stopped bidding for new work today, it has enough projects locked in to keep running for years. And here's the thing that really puts it in perspective. Walk around any major Indian city, look up. That flyover, possibly L&T. That metro station, possibly L&T. That airport terminal you flew through last month, very possibly L&T. The defense system protecting India's borders, partially L&T. You cannot build modern India without L&T. That's not a marketing line. That's just the reality. Okay, now here's the part I love. Because this strategy is one of the most taught, most debated, and most misunderstood concepts in business schools. Let me break it down in a way that actually makes sense. The strategy is called Concentric Diversification. And it's right at the heart of what L&T did over 80 years. Imagine you're a master chef. You run the best restaurant in the city. People love your food, trust your taste, and know your name. Now, you want to grow. You have two options. Option A, you open a clothing store, completely unrelated to food. You'd have to learn a brand new industry from scratch. New customers, new suppliers, new skills, high risk, because nothing from your restaurant career helps you here. Option B is that you open a cooking school, then you launch a line of premium sauces, then you write a cookbook, then you start a food consulting firm for hotel chains. Every new thing you do in option B is different from your restaurant but deeply connected to your core skill. You already know food, you already have a reputation, you already understand the customer. Every new venture benefits from everything you've already built. That right there is concentric diversification. Growing outward in related directions, like rings expanding from the center of a lake when you throw a stone. Each ring is new, but they all come from the same point of impact. Now replace the chef with L&T, their core skill. Their stone in the lake is heavy engineering and complex project execution. Nobody does large, technically complex, long duration projects better than L&T. So when they moved on into defense, they weren't starting from zero. Building a warship is just another massively complex engineering project. Same core skill, new application. When they moved into IT services, they already managed enormous complicated projects with hundreds of moving parts. Running a large technology services firm is the same thing in software. When they moved into finance, they were already lending money to themselves for infrastructure projects. L&T Finance was a natural extension of the capital intensive world they already lived in. This is what makes concentric diversification so powerful. You're not spreading yourself thin, you are multiplying your strengths. Every new business makes the whole group stronger because they all share the same DNA. Why this is taught at Harvard, Wharton, and IIM? Business schools teach concentric diversification as part of Ansoff's growth matrix, one of the foundational frameworks of corporate strategy developed by mathematician Igor Ansoff in 1957. Ansoff's matrix gives companies 4 ways to grow. Number 1. You can sell existing products to existing customers. You can enter new markets with existing products. You can develop new products for existing customers, or the most ambitious move, you can diversify entirely. But Ansoff was very clear about something that most people miss. Unrelated diversification is the riskiest move a company can make. When you enter a business that has nothing to do with what you already know, you have no competitive advantage. You are a beginner in a room full of experts. Concentric diversification is the smarter play. You move into new industries, but you bring your existing expertise, brand, and relationships with you. You are never starting from zero. You always have an edge. L&T is the textbook example of this done right. Across 8 decades, across 7 major business verticals, across 50 countries. That's why it sits in case studies from IIM Ahmedabad to Harvard Business School. Not because they grew big, but because they grew intelligently. The lesson? When you're thinking about your next move in business or in your career, don't just ask where can I go. Ask where can I go where everything I've already built gives me an unfair advantage. That's concentric diversification, and that's the L&T way. So that's L&T. 2 foreigners stranded by a world war, a partition crisis that became an opportunity, and 80 years of growing outward, intelligently, deliberately, powerfully, into the company that built modern India. From bridges to missiles to metros to software. All from the same stone, all the same rings in the lake. That's episode 9. Next time, episode 8. And we are switching gears completely. No buildings, no missiles. We are going into the world of consumer lending and the company that turned borrowing money into lifestyle, Bajaj Finance. The strategy they used? Let's uncover it in the next episode itself. Subscribe, follow, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in episode 8. Thanks for watching. Bye.